Hello, everyone, and I thank you for this opportunity. My name is RevBillHeller, and I'm glad to be here back at Unity of Carlsbad. I've got some background with you folks, although you may not be aware of it. In the year 2004 through 2006, I was offering or facilitating the Course in Miracles class at your church. I did that until I was accepted into Unity Ministry School in June of 2006. So it was your group that I was with that I was pleased to be able to share this win with at that time. I'm glad to be back now. Here we are 14 years later, and I want to thank you. I've been ordained and I've been back on the East Coast for the better part of this time, since ordination in 2009. And I've been more recently in Unity of Hemet since 2017. I want to thank Reverend Robin for inviting me here, but I also want to thank her for the difference that she made at Unity of Hemet. Robin joined us to offer Sunday lessons prior to her starting with you folks, and the afternoons were filled with her workshop on conscious aging. It was a great success, probably the largest turnout that we had for some time in any class. So thank you, Robin. It's good to connect with you again, and also good to be back here. I'd like to open this time with a time of prayer. I'm going to ask you to join me now in a moment of silence. Moment to go within and to focus on the presence and the love of God within you right now. Whatever other thoughts or ideas may cross your mind, I would ask you to simply let them pass and continue to focus on God's presence within you. Let us affirm our time together. Loving Creator, we give thanks for what is unfolding here. We open our hearts and we open our minds to be aware of the insights, the inspirations that are here for us. Let your gifts, your insights today, fill this space with a loving connection that is always present, that we may know of your presence and share it with one another. For this we give thanks, and so it is. Amen. Well, what a great opportunity to talk with you folks today, particularly in light of what's unfolding within our country today. We're right in the middle of election season. Many of you have already voted, and I thank you for your participation, for you expressing your desire, your intentions for our country. Whatever persuasion your participation signifies your intention, your will to further our dream of our country's beginning, and from our country's beginning to co-create America. Tuesday, we'll wrap this up, at least for all the voting. Yet I know there's more for us to do, which I'll be addressing shortly. Today, we might recognize that the country seems more divided than at any time in history. My question is for you is, where have you looked for your answers? The answers that you would use to vote. I'm convinced that you can turn on your TV or your computer and you can find virtually anything that you want. What you want to hear or what you don't want to hear is there waiting for you. My guess along these lines, you have decided who is distorting the truth and who also represents what your direction is. Have you heard anything in the last couple of weeks that has changed your direction towards your party or your candidate? Or are you finding your decision simply reinforced? By this Wednesday, I've no doubt that you'll have heard enough. But before we get started on this, let's set the stage properly. I have something I'd like to share with you folks. Oops, sorry about this. There's our title of our lesson for today. Are you voting with your heart? We've had our opening prayer. So let's go back to this. I'd like to set the stage for where we're going. Let's have a little humor to lighten it up to begin with. I've got the story of the politician who walks into a small town and asks the mayor, what sort of problems do they have? The mayor replies that they have two problems. The first one is that they have a hospital, but they don't have a doctor. The politician takes out his mobile phone, steps aside for a couple of minutes, and when he comes back, he returns and he tells the mayor, your problem is already solved. Tomorrow morning, a doctor will arrive in your town. Be ready to welcome him. So what is the second problem that you have? The mayor just kind of looks at him and pauses, and then he goes on to say, we don't have mobile coverage. There's another item I saw recently. The latest Fox News election poll says that Trump is way ahead in all 87 states. Go figure that one out. I remember from the last election season that it's important to look closely at lawn signs during the election campaigns. Last time I voted for a real estate agent. And now let's just take it overseas and look at elections as they go on in Russia. After a recent Russian election, Putin met with his staffs. One of his staff members said, Sir, Comrade Vlad, we've got some good news and we've got some bad news for you. Well, Putin says, I'm not afraid of bad news. I've wrestled with bears, I've wrestled with tigers, and even with a small rhinoceros, all barehanded. Hit me with what you got. The staff member says, your opponent got 51% of the vote. Well, that's terrible news, says Putin. So what's the good news? What on earth could it be? The staff says, you got 52%. There's some elections elsewhere to consider. Let's go back to where we are. Are you voting with your heart? You've made a decision, and how did you get there? Was it from your ideas of how your country is supposed to be run? Our country is supposed to be run? Was it planning for your business? Has there been emotion involved in your decision? Has there been fear as your motivator, as in to say who you don't want to win? What have been the factors that have been considered in your decision? Have you used prayer to consider? Your direction? Have you looked to your heart to find the answer that means to bring forward your highest good? Essentially, have you voted with your heart and your mind? My law within them, and I will write upon their hearts, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Here is the speaking of the message in our heart. That message as a means for us to go forward. And as manifestations in unity, you know that we recognize our oneness with God, the presence of God within us always. This is the means that we bring forward our sense of divine order. It is a heartfelt awareness as to what is our highest good, and following this, the result of our thoughts of prayer or prayers. As you know, Principle 3 speaks to this. Human beings create their experience by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its origins in thought. We're speaking here of our mind, a thought, an idea that is associated, attached to what is in our heart. The means to clearly know our heart and mind are unified to bring forward our highest good. As Charles Fillmore has told us, the test of truth is that it satisfies the logic of the mind and the longing of the heart. Has this been your process? Your means of expressing your energy, your intention? As you look at your unity experience, can you see how this has unfolded for you? What positive direction, what clear intentions have you stated and brought forward? My guess is throughout your history in unity, you've had many experiences where you've followed these unity practices, and that you've had such instances in your life that have filled your life with positive results, straightened your winding road into a straight manner in life. Does such an action deserve a role in your considering this action, this election? My prayer is that you are available and able to reflect your intentions in such a manner and see the results unfold in your lives. Wouldn't it be most natural to apply this energy, this intention to your election? So let's do just that. You are God's divine expression. And today is the day we bring this power forward, that you may experience and accept your role in what is unfolding in our country. And in return, may we realize the experience of our love fulfilled in the divine order that rolls out. For this is who you are as God's divine expression. What has gone into your vote? Are you voting to bring forward your dreams, your intentions for our country and our world? Are these intentions sourced in your heart? Bring them forward. That is, pray with your feet While voting is but one example, is there more that you can do to bring forward those intentions you have? Perhaps you can foresee even a bigger picture of what is being called for here. This is your chance. Let's take it. Let your vote be a means to bring forward your heart. Let's look at another aspect of your intention. Are you voting for one because you don't want the other to win? Here is an instance where you're focusing your energy on what you don't want. A good example of this might be the never Trumpers. Note the energy in this position. Energy that is applied towards what you don't want. Your energy here is an avoidance or resistance rather than the creative expression as to what we are speaking of before. One stating negative is directing their energy towards what they don't want. Ultimately, that energy is what supports that which you would wish to avoid. In this example, in that negative emotions, the never Trumpers might end up showing a vote for Trump or expressing an energy that brings Trump into the win. In her book, The 5 Principles, A Guide to Practical Spirituality, Reverend Ellen Davenport speaks a key point to this message. I'm going to read this for you because it is so meaningful. The metaphysics, which means above or beyond the physical, most of our experiences have had elements of both. For example, leaders are elected physically with our votes, but metaphysically through our collective consciousness. Suppose candidate A and B are running for president. Half the country is voting for A, the other half not only supports B, but despises A. The polls say it's a toss-up, but candidate A will take office because of the tremendous emotional focus on him or her. Both sides are choosing candidate A with their attention and their emotion. Both are providing energetic support for A, whether they go into the voting booth or not. Half are creating the outcome that they want, while half are creating what they don't want through their fear, their resistance, and their negativity. As we have learned in Principle 3, we create both ways through positive and negative vibration. Charles Fillmore speaks to this when he says, pronounce every experience good and of God. And by that mental attitude, you will call forth only the good. So my question is for you, what is in your heart? Beloved metaphysicians, apply these principles that have been offered from the beginning. If fearful thoughts or resistance to another are in your mind, it is time to deny these. Deny any belief in resistance and negativity. Release it and replace it with the open, positive affirmation of what you hold as the highest good for you, for your family, for your community, your state, and your country. I'm going to ask you now to join me in a time of meditation. This is a time of silence to be clear on what it is that we wish to offer. So please take this time now to close your eyes and move into your center. You might focus on your breathing in the love of God, and then exhaling, extending that love as you would. Take a deep breath. Inhale, hold, and exhale. Inhale, hold, and exhale. And one more time. In hold, up, and exhale. Relax into the space. Set your mind and your heart as one. Feel the love of who you are, the love of God that is flowing in and through you here and now. Recognize your connection to the eternal as God's creation. Feel that sense of safety, the wisdom that is yours. Relax and remember who you are. In this space now, focus on this world and your life. Feel the love that you have to share, to contribute to life, to being. You were created to express such love, to create in the space of that love. Envision you in this election. See your greatest desire. See your means to contribute to this country. Your means to extend your love. If any fear or discomfort comes up for you, deny that now. Release any fear and affirm who you are as God's blessed creation. Affirm your highest good, the good for all. Release any other doubts, any uncertainty. What is it that you now wish to see for this country? With this guidance, can you see where your heart takes you? And can you bring that positive energy into what is unfolding for our country now? rest in this space and accept what you've realized. Bring this forward that you may share yourself in this entire process. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today. May this carry you forward as to a means to serve, a means to provide what you truly wish to see and watch unfold during this time, this election season. May your heart fill the United States of America. May you feel positive and grateful that you have done what is yours to do to make a difference. Carry that energy throughout these days. Thank you. So I thank you all for joining us today. And I give thanks for this opportunity to connect with Unity of Carlsbad, with all you, Unity of Carlsbad. You can check out the website for information on previous lessons or on things to unfold going forward. Also with an address for you to make any contributions that you would be making to Unity of Carlsbad. We give thanks for each donation, for we know that this continues to affirm continued thriving in existence of your community as well as Unity at large. Thanks again. I'm going to ask you to join me now in closing. Let me offer a prayer. Sweet loving Creator, we give thanks for this time today, for whatever we have received that we can bring forward in what is ours to do within our lives and within our country. Let us see our means to extend love continue to be expanding, continue to grow. And for all of this, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Please join me now as I will affirm the prayer for protection. You may say it to yourselves, or you may simply listen to it as I offer it. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you, and the presence of God watches over you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Namaste.